Another notable outfield bat is off the board for the Philadelphia Phillies as they continue to figure out how they can improve this team, and Cody Bellinger will not be the answer to their problems. As Dave Dombrowski continues to evaluate what the best route is, we're here to break down why this move has a little bit more to do with the future of the Phillies than many of us might have expected. Now, to dive right into it, we did get this breaking news from Jeff Passan here saying that outfielder slash first baseman Cody Bellinger has been traded to the Chicago Cubs to the New York Yankees, sources tell ESPN. Bellinger, 29, is a former MVP and has 2 years remaining on his contract with an opt-out after 2025. Yankees continue to be aggressive post Juan Soto. And add to this a little bit, we were getting these reports for a while that, quote, the Cubs are determined to trade either Bellinger with the $27.5 million in 2025 and $25 million player option the following year, or the $5 million, or Suzuki here. So that's kind of where I wanted to bring you into the conversation, Luke. Talk to me about your initial takeaways for this and kind of your level of surprise that it went down.
Yeah. I wasn't really expecting Bellinger. Um, I think that sort of ship has sailed. I don't think he's like the best fit right now. That sort of what the Phillies need.
Yeah.
But I think the reason it's kind of bigger for the Phillies is because I think it has a big effect on hey, Suzuki. Um, I think there's a lot less likely of a chance now that he gets traded. The Cubs obviously they gained Tucker, but they sort of lost Bellinger now. They lost an outfielder. Granted, Suzuki's more of a corner outfield guy, but it still kind of worries me because they do have, I guess you could say, three corner outfield options right now in Suzuki, Tucker, and Ian Happ.
Mm-hmm.
So the issue is that Seiya said he doesn't really want to play DH. So that is kind of where the issue is now for the Cubs. So it's either they find a spot for Seiya or they trade him. I don't think they want to trade both Bellinger and Seiya, but I mean, if he really doesn't want to be a DH and they don't have a spot for him in the corners, I guess they would probably have to trade him.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of the only option here. And to pull up this initial report again, is it just money that is kind of the issue here? Is that's what is motivating this and sort of like the decision making? I get Bellinger has a little bit more of a steeper price tag, and that maybe plus the decline in his play, which is pretty evident in recent years. The former MVP not quite performing at nearly that level anymore. But what is the motivation behind? I get you bringing Kyle Tucker, but is it just money, or is there more to the story here?
Yeah, I think they were. I don't know. I think I don't necessarily know. I mean, they have Crow Armstrong who will play center field for them. They kind of have their center fielder of the future. I think they were kind of looking to free up some money in Bellinger, and I guess they figured that they would get a better package now rather than with one less year on his contract. That was probably their main, I would say, mindset behind that. But yeah, the Yankees, I think, is definitely a good move for the Yankees because Bellinger will play center now, it seems like, and I believe Aaron Judge is probably going to go back to right field.
Yeah.
So now they're kind of getting Judge out of center. I would say back sort of more where he belongs and right. I think wholeheartedly. While he can play a pretty good center field, I think he's probably best suited to play right. So yeah, I mean, this was a nice move, I would say, for the Yankees. I don't think they gave up like too much.
Mhm.
They did give up an arm, but they gave up $5 million in cash as well, which was kind of funny to me. That's more to sort of like loan some money for the contract type of thing. But I don't know. It was like a weird, like random trade that I wasn't really expecting today. I did kind of see the fit for Bellinger in New York, but I don't know. I just like the way it went down and like the 5 million involved. I don't know. It was just like a weird trade to me.
Yeah, it must be nice to be rich, right? That's kind of my
Yeah,
takeaway on that
just
one.
kind
But
of
from a
handling five
Phillies
million dollars.
perspective now, yeah, for real. From a Phillies perspective, look around. So there is no more Juan Soto. There is no more Kyle Tucker. There is no more Cody Bellinger. Where does this team go from here, Luke? When looking around, kind of the upgrades, we've talked for years now at this point why having a lineup of both Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas simply does not cut it from a playoff perspective here. Where does this team go from here?
Yeah, I think one of their bigger options is Suzuki. And if that is still on the table. As far as Chicago wanting to move another outfielder, I think that's probably the best fit right now as far as the trade market. I mean, if they really wanted to get into this thing, they could go sign Anthony Santander. But I just don't think they're looking at a big time free agent left fielder right now. It seems like they're kind of more like hunting the trade market.
Yeah.
But Suzuki for me is probably the best fit, I would say, as of right now on the trade market. It's really just a matter now of if the Cubs want to trade another outfielder.
Interesting. So yeah, this could have some repercussions there. Obviously, Chicago's been incredibly active so far in the offseason here. Kind of very I did not expect Kyle Tucker to be heading there in the first place. And
Yeah, and it
Mhm.
is kind of funny too, because like the Cubs, like they're not like some top team. Like they didn't make the playoffs last year. They like and they go and trade a ton for Tucker, and I don't know. The whole Kyle Tucker trade didn't really make a ton of sense to me
No.
for the Cubs because it's like if you go into this knowing that you're going to re-sign him and you kind of say like, "Hey, we want you to stick around after this 1 year," then I get that. But like you traded four prospects for a guy who there's a very good chance he just gets up and leaves next year.
Yeah.
So it was just confusing to me because the Cubs aren't like I think they want to be in win now World Series mode, but there's like seven teams in the National League that are better than them.
Yeah.
So it just didn't really like make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, I'm curious, and I mean that's part of why we're recording this in the first place. That if there are more moving pieces here, and Suzuki could very well be a part of this. Maybe Alec Boehm could be of interest to them. Who knows what they have in mind there? So,
There we go.
yeah, we'll see what happens from here. I did want to throw one more thing your way before we wrap up here, Lucas. You did have a chance this weekend to hang out with Matt Staham a little bit. So, any little intel from Staham, some new teammates, or anything else? Any stories you got to tell?
Not really. He was just sitting there slamming baseball cards. That's like his favorite thing in the world. He was doing this big opening with the this show that he works for. But no, he was cool. He shook everyone's hand. He had like a 20-minute conversation with us. He was very dope. He did give us an F the Mets at one point. That was nice.
Love it.
So he was very cool. It was just very much like you were just like hanging out with like one of your boys. Like he wasn't like weird like I'm rich, you're not type of thing. He was just like a very like sick human being.
Love to hear that. And I do remember hearing, and hopefully this is factually accurate, not made up in my brain, but that every player that hits a home run off him,
Yeah.
he keeps their
Yeah,
baseball
so
card.
he collects every rookie card of every player that hits a home run off of him,
Yeah,
which
that's
is like
sick.
psycho
Yeah.
stuff.
I think that's awesome though, and that's kind of a nice sign of respect there. So shout out to Strom. Happy he is sticking around in one of the more stable parts of this bullpen as currently constructed here. So hopefully we will have some more news on who his new teammates will be and some more moving parts with this Phillies team. But for now, hitting a little bit of a lull. Hopefully things spark up again soon, and I would love some concrete news for where things are heading from here. But me and Luke are gonna be with you from start to finish, regardless. So as always, appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning into this video. Make sure you're smashing that subscribe button if you have not already. Drop a like on this video right here, and hopefully we have some breaking news to get into as far as this team in actuality in the near future. Appreciate each and every one of you guys once again. Talk to you next time. Peace.